So if he saw this video, do you think that he would want to come and get you up off the street?
Probably so.
Have you ever considered maybe calling him?
No.
Why not?
It's because, you know what? I know it's hard to talk about it, but I'm going to just say it anyway.
Young lady out here today. How you doing today, miss?
I'm doing good.
All right, all right. So how old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Are you homeless?
As of right now, yes.
Okay. And so what would you say has brought you to this point of being homeless in your life?
During the pandemic, people getting laid off and everything. So it's like, before the pandemic, I was living good, making sure, you know, just making sure that my house was good and everything. But during the pandemic, it just threw everybody off because everybody's losing their jobs. And then they said that they have rent forgiveness, but they don't. They don't have rent forgiveness. Okay. And now you see all my brothers and sisters, I call them my brothers and sisters, all the village people out here.
Okay. What were you doing, you know, kind of in between the ages of 22 and, you know, a month ago?
Between 22 and a month ago. Okay, let's go down the timeline. I was working at the radio station on night shift.
What radio station?
Hot 107.9 on night shift.
You was working at Hot 107.9 here in Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay, what were you doing there?
I was a promoter. You know, back in the day, you know, we would hand out CDs and hand out, you know, t-shirts and stuff like that.
Was you an intern or was you
I was more like...
Did you work there as an employee?
I worked there as an intern.
Okay. And
then a year later, then I started to get paid. But I missed that job. I used to work for DJ Chameleon and DJ Scream. I was working for Hood Rich Entertainment.
So we get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
You were working at the radio station. What was the job that you had right before the pandemic hit?
I used to be a construction worker. I got my credentials right here.
You know, you don't have to show your credentials, but you was working construction, and so the pandemic hit, and that caused you to stop working.
They sent everybody home because.
Okay. And so, was you getting unemployment for a little while and all like that?
I got unemployment for maybe 2 months, and then the credentials got cut off by the company. I was working for Baston and Cook.
Okay. And so, what have you been doing for income since then?
You know, just small jobs, working at McDonald's, you know, here and there. I was trying to pay rent, and then the McDonald's I was working at, they actually shut down because it was a grease fire. It was on the news. This happened like back in December. It was on the news to where the McDonald's, because of the grease fire, somebody left the grease on.
I get it.
When we closed down, and by that morning, it was already burnt up.
Okay. Has there ever been any history of drug abuse?
No.
Okay. What about mental health?
Yes.
What mental health
I didn't get my mental health situation when everything started happening last year. When my grandfather died, my grandma died, my uncle died. I started going to counseling. It's actually right down the street to Grady. It's 10 Park Place. It's right down the street.
I'm familiar.
And the reason why I went is because I became depressed a couple of months ago, which is last year.
Were you diagnosed with anything?
I was diagnosed with depression.
Were you put on any medications for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was. Because it came to a point where I couldn't sleep for 2 days in a row. And then crash on the third day and kept doing the same thing. I'm like, you know what? I need to go get some help. So I went to go get some help.
Okay. And so, are you in a relationship right now?
No.
Okay, when was the last time you was in a relationship?
Last time I was in a relationship was last year.
What happened to that relationship?
We split apart. We didn't see eye to eye.
What specifically did you guys not see eye to eye on?
It's that I've been with this person for over 3 years, and when my mental start declining, that's when he couldn't help me anymore. He couldn't
Help
help
you
me.
what? Financially, or help you just in
Help
what
me
way?
mentally. He
Okay.
couldn't help me mentally anymore. And I left to go to New York
Why'd you leave to go to New York?
uh, to see my mother's side of the family.
Okay, so you went to go see family, and what happened?
Then it was more funerals I had to go to when I was up there.
Right. And so, but how did that contribute to the destruction of the relationship?
It's just that we wasn't seeing eye to eye no more. He wants something else, and I
What did
wanted
he
something
want?
else. He wanted to get married, and I told him no. And
Why didn't you want to get married?
it's because of the age difference.
How old was he?
In his 50s.
Was he financially stable?
Yeah. It's just that certain, like, I could call him right now and we could have a good conversation. Just he wanted something else and I wanted something else, and I wish him for peace.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If on the off chance that he were to see this video, do you think that he would want you to have been homeless for the last month? Does he know that you're homeless?
No, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him ever since December.
And so if he saw this video, do you think that he would want to come and get you up off the street?
Probably so.
Have you ever considered maybe calling him?
No.
Why not?
It's because, you know what? I know it's hard to talk about it, but I'm going to just say it anyway. It's because that I didn't tell him that I lost my job. I didn't tell him that the little apartment that I had, I lost it. I just don't want him to see me as a failure. So it's more of a pride thing than anything. I'm just being very, very
straight
honest.
up pride.
Yeah.
All right. And so are you homeless?
I am currently.
Okay. And so how old are you?
I am 25. I just turned 25 yesterday. March
Yesterday?
3rd. Yes.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy belated. All right. And so how long have you been homeless?
I have been homeless since I was a good maybe 19. It started to get rough around that time, but I would say mainly maybe 16 when I would say my grandmother passed. She was the glue to the family, and after that, it just, kind of went down, in a way. In the right place because of COVID. I had got laid off my job, so my mind wasn't in the right place. I was in a apartment before, around in that time as well, and me and my sister, that was her apartment, and I stayed with her, and we didn't mesh too well, and like our lights got cut off and things of that nature. So I went to a mind frame of I have a niece in the house. She has to eat. She needs to be able to take a bath. She needs to see in the house and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, I have to go make a move. Do what I do. I don't do stuff like that. I never done anything like that.
Are you talking about prostitution?
Kind of, sort of, trying to, because there was no options. I used to walk around because MARTA cut bus services off
You don't
around
have to
COVID
explain.
time.
You don't have to explain.
I
So
used to walk around passing my resume out. So it was just like tough times got hard. So
how many times did you prostitute yourself?
No, that was like the first time of thinking of doing something like that. And I was hanging with a certain friend who I wasn't supposed to be hanging around because they are in a good influence. And I like hanging
Do
around
they
good
prostitute
influence.
themselves?
They've done it. They've done it in the past, type deal.
And so when was the first time? How old were you when you first did it?
Okay, so like 23.
Okay. And did you do it a lot or
Nah,
just
I
one
didn't do it a
time,
lot.
or did you do it just a few times?
A few times, but it started to eat me inside, and it was like,
Was
this
it with the
isn't
same
me.
person or was it different people?
It was with different people.
And how much was the lowest that you were charged?
60.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. And so you say that started to eat at you. And so what did we do for income after that? Or have we just not really had a whole lot?
I haven't really, I found out I was pregnant and everything else like that. I ended up getting a job or whatever or whatnot. But with me being, how nice I was, like, I'm that type of person, I'll give my money away. I used to just give my money away. Anybody who needs something, I'm giving you, I'm giving, and it cost me to where, like, I'm in the situation where I'm in right now as well because I have the heart that I have, and it costs you as well. But I learned a lot of life lessons So with me being 25 years old, I can say I wouldn't keep making those same mistakes if I get that chance to, you know, be better and greater in life, you know. So, because I have a son to think about now. Like, this is my world, so I can't keep thinking.
Right now, the search is on for this man that you see right there on your screen. Police say he raped a woman in the Bronx. This all happened in the Kingsbridge Heights neighborhood. Pix 11's Jennifer Bisram joins us now live with the very latest on the investigation. Hi there, Jen.
Hi, Heidi. It is every woman's worst fear, being raped. And police say that is exactly what happened to a 27-year-old woman who lives in this neighborhood. And now the hunt is on for her attacker. Horrifying moments for a Bronx woman Friday. Watch as a man grabs her from behind and puts her in a chokehold.
I hope she's okay.
What happens next is even more terrifying. Police say after she lost consciousness, he raped her.
This pandemic has gotten everybody shaken up. But for a young lady to be done like that, that's heartbreaking.
70-year-old Margaret Cotton has been living near Davidson Avenue and West 190th Street, where it happened, for nearly 15 years.
You just got to be careful and guard your children and guard your own life.
We're told the 27-year-old woman had lacerations on her nose and mouth and had to be taken to the hospital.
Very scary.
Yeah.
I called all my friends. I was just telling them, be careful.
Investigators say it happened inside of an apartment building lobby in the middle of the day. That's got a lot of women in this Kingsbridge Heights neighborhood on edge.
You know, it's scary out here in the Bronx, you know, because you never know it could happen to any of us.
I pray for the neighborhood. I pray for my family.
And police say they want to get that man off the streets before he attacks again. If you recognize him or have any information about him, you're urged to call police right away. Remember, you can also remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers.
Video shows two men appearing to be going about their business, but police say their presence Wednesday morning on Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx was anything but innocent, adding these two men are now wanted for cornering 35-year-old Maxie Felice and her 3-year-old son at gunpoint. She says they even pointed their gun at her son's head before robbing her. Why point a gun at a child? Why? Felice asks of the two men who followed her into her building lobby and pulled a gun out of a red bag. They pushed me against the wall and covered my mouth, Felice says. They grabbed her wallet containing $1,500 in cash, her cell phone, the keys to her white Range Rover Sport SUV, and then took off. The suspects were reportedly waiting for Felice, but she says she does not know the men and does not know why they robbed her. Never in my life have I seen them before, Felice says. I don't have a busy social life. I don't run the streets. I came to this country to work.
It's terrible.
Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson.
It is just a sign that, you know, things are getting a little bit out of control. There's far too much violence and too many innocent mothers and fathers along with their children are innocent victims of a crime. And a mother and child should never be hijacked and robbed at gunpoint. There's too many guns on the street.
Those two suspects still on the loose tonight. If you have any information about this case, you're asked to call the Crime Stoppers hotline. That number, 1-800-577-TIPS.
We close out Valentine's Day week with some unfortunate news for single women. Some data shows they're losing out in today's economy. So here's a look by the numbers. Today, we learned the median price for a new home rose to $350,000 in January. That's according to the National Association of Realtors. That is a 15% spike from a year ago and the highest median price on record for the month of January, which is typically a sleepy time for home sales. Of course, if you're single, you are a lot more likely to be shouldering the entire cost yourself. And while collectively American women earn less than men, the median income for single women is even lower, $32,000 a year, while partnered women make a median of $40,000 a year, according to Pew. And then there's inflation, of course. Now that's at a 40-year high. Some experts say it's hitting single people even harder because they're not splitting expenses. Married people might also be getting tax advantages, discounted family rates, things like gym gym memberships or cell phone plans too. But while single life can have its downsides, more Americans of all ages are choosing to go it alone. A record 35% of U.S. adults between 25 and 50 had never been married as of 2018. In 1970, that share was just 9%, according to the Institute for Family Studies.